Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you're tuning in from around the globe, peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. We have a special show for today. We'll be going over our Iran War 2026 watch list. Geopolitical tensions can move markets quickly, and energy stocks are often the first sector to react. Get it right, man. Today we're reviewing the Iran War 2026 watch list that includes oil ETFs like XLE, XOP, IEO, and also just straight oil funds like BNO and USO. Also, straight up oil companies like Chevron and ExxonMobil. We'll also keep an eye on defense contractors like Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, and Raytheon Technologies, which is now RTX, since military spending tends to rise when global tensions escalate. In this session, we're focused purely on the charts to identify momentum, trend direction, and potential technical levels traders may be watching. Let's break down the watch list and see where the markets might be signaling next. All right, so first on the list we have BNO. So this is the weekly chart here. So when the war first broke out, we were right here because this was Friday and then this was Monday. So this was the weekend. It happened over the weekend. So that's when I created this watch list. So this was the first week of the watch list and this was the second week of the watch list. So now let's go to the daily. So this was that Friday and then this was that Monday. So when market opened, if you just hopped in, you was like, man, I'm gonna just go in because I know this thing finna run because of this Iran war. You would have got in around in the high 30s, 36, and that thing ran all the way up to 50 by the following Monday. And then it sold off crazy. And then it ran back up. As you can see, it actually gapped up here. So we can go ahead and put another gap on here. But that's a nice run up. Just say you waited. If you got in any time on that Monday, the max you bought it for was $38. And then in a week, you was up to $50. And then, but if you bought it on Monday and that thing sold off, you was under pressure. You was under a lot of pressure. But then they bought it back up and then it even gapped up and it's headed back toward the all-time high. So it did end up hitting the all-time high the following Monday. Okay, so it looks like it's headed back to that all-time high. So as far as downside support, we do have the top of the gap here at 46.55, the middle of the gap 45.50, and then the bottom of the gap and also our support level here is 44.20, followed by $44. And then to the upside we have basically Friday's high, which is very close to the current price, and then the all-time high, and then price discovery. So let's turn on the algo and see if we can have any levels above the all-time high that we can track. Let's see. Okay. So after the all-time high, we have a level here of 51.67, followed by 53.38. All right, looking good. So that was a good call on BNO. Great call, actually. All right, next. So we have USO, United States Oil Fund. So we had, look like we got another gap here. All right, gap is drawn on there. So if we go back to, this is Friday, February 27th. And then this is Monday, March 2nd. So the war was announced over this weekend. So same thing. If you had got in on the Monday of You would have got in at the highest price of $88, and it ran all the way to 123. That's a very good trade. Very good trade. It even gapped up from Thursday to Friday. And then it topped out here on the following Monday. And then sold off crazy, just like the other one. And now it's gained some more strength, and it gapped up, just like BNO gapped up. Okay, so current price, we got 119.89. As far as support, we have a level here at 118.40, followed by 115, and then we have the gap. The top of the gap is 113.92. The middle of the gap is 111, and we also have a previous all-time high here at 110, and then the bottom of the gap at 108.50, followed by 105. And then to the upside, we have the high of Friday, which is very close to the current price, but it's 121.15, followed by 124.20, which was the highest price before the sell-off. And then we have a weekly level here at 125. So let's see if we have any levels. Let's turn on the algo and see if we have any levels above that 125. Not on the daily. Let's see if we have any on the 4 hour. Nope, not yet. Let's see on the weekly. Yep, on the weekly, we got a level here at 134.34. 159.91. I don't think it's gonna get to 159.91, but we do have this level here at 134.34. All right, next let's go to XLE. Let's go to the daily. See what we got. Let's go to weekly first. So this is the 2 weeks. The past 2 weeks. We've been in the Iran war for about 2 weeks now. So it did run up, and then it basically just consolidated the following week. But it did hit an all-time high, so it wasn't just consolidation. Let's actually take a closer look. Okay, so this is that Friday, the 27th. And then over this weekend, this one it was announced, and then it ran up, sold off, popped, sold off, hit an all-time high, and now it's very close to the all-time high. So, had you hopped in, it wasn't the same type of upside that we had from the individual companies, but because it did sell off and then consolidate, and now it's moving back to the upside. But just say you got in at the highest price available here on that Monday, you'd have been underwater if you held, and now you're basically back at break even. So yeah, so the ETF was not the play, at least this particular ETF would not have worked for you. But if you bought it down here, or if you didn't buy it at the high on Monday, then you'll be green. If you bought it at the high, you'll be barely green. But if you bought it anywhere in here, or just say you didn't buy it on Monday, you bought it on Tuesday or Wednesday or any day after Monday, because you just want to see what's going to happen, and then you caught this pullback, then you was able to catch a move to the upside. All right, as far as support, we have the lower Friday, 57.10, followed by the lower Wednesday. We got 55.50, followed by 55 and 53.75. To the upside, oh, actually, let's move this all-time high up here. Okay. To the upside, we got the high Friday, 57.95. We got the all-time high here, 58.22. And let's check out the algo, see if we have any prices above the all-time high. Yes, we do. We have 58.58 and 59.35. All right, so that's what we got on XLE. Let's check out the next ETF. Okay, so this is that Friday before the announcement. This is the Monday after the announcement. So we did have a nice move up here. We had the gap up. It has not filled the gap since. So if you bought any time on this Monday, you was up on Tuesday, it pulled back. You felt a little pressure, but then it bounced up very strongly. So if you got in on this Monday, then you are definitely in the green. It came up and then it sold off. And now it's moving back to the upside. We do have our Smart Money Concepts resistance zone here. So it is in that resistance zone. So it's going to be hard to break through. That doesn't mean it can't break through. And then this zone with this orange in here, this is all, what is this zone here? Oh, this is consolidation. Look, you had to zoom out. But this is all, it was just consolidating in the zone for hell long. For years, since 2022, it was just consolidating for hell long. And now it finally broke out. So, let's see. All right, current price, 167.89. If you're looking for support, we got the low of Friday's candle, 164.66, followed by 162.38, and then we have the top of the consolidation, 161. Then we ended up breaking that. Got us coming right here, 157.82, and if it breaks that, we got the gap right here. And then to the upside, got to break the high of Friday and the high of Thursday. So 168.94. And we have the top of our resistance zone here, 170.60. It ends up breaking that. We got a weekly level resistance here at 174. All right. Yeah, I don't see it breaking that in 1 week. All right. IEO. Okay, here's that Friday before the war started. Here's the Monday after the war started. We had the gap up. Very similar chart, y'all, because this is just another ETF. So all these are going to be very similar. These three ETFs. Okay, so you got in on Monday. You was good on Tuesday. It sold off. You got scared. It was under pressure. It came back in the gap, but then it bought up over the next few days. And then on Monday, hit an all-time high, sold off crazy, and then got bought back up. So we can move this all-time high up here. There is a little gap right here. We can go ahead and put that gap on the chart. There we are. So it did come in and touch the gap. So current price 117.36. As far as downside, we do have the gap here. We had the low of Friday 115.79. If it breaks that, we do have this gap filled. It'll be 115.26. If it does break that, you should see some support here at 113.60. If it breaks that, this thing coming back down to 111. All right, and then upside, we got Friday's high, 117.80, followed by the all-time high. And let's see if we have any levels above the all-time high. We got 119.67. All right. Let's check out Lockheed Martin. Lockheed Martin. Okay, this is the Friday before the war was announced. It had ran up to all-time highs on that Monday, and it since sold off. Gave us a lower high and sold off again. It is in our Smart Money Concepts support zone here, so I don't expect it to break it easily. It may buy up. If it does break that, we do have this weekly level here at 364. Excuse me, at 634.40. But we are in a short-term downtrend on Lockheed Martin. But all we got to do is hear some more announcements about the war increasing or the war starting in Cuba. I think Trump said he was going to invade Cuba next, so that will definitely give Lockheed Martin a boost in price. Okay, let me see. As far as upside, this is actually a lower low when it comes to market structure. This previous low here was broken. So next is going to be this low before that, which is our weekly level here at 634.40. So if it does break that, I can see it coming down to 622, followed by 614.85, which is the top of our next smart money concept support zone. Okay, and then to the upside, I'm gonna break this Thursday's high at 661.20, followed by 676.70, and then the all-time high. All right, let's check out the algo, see what the algo says. It did have a buy way back here. We did have a close signal on the buy, but this is a more recent entry though. This is not from this entry. So let's check out the 4 hours, see if we have a more recent signal. We had a sell signal here at Tuesday at 5 a.m. Had you got in when the market opened, you would have hit TP1, and then it did hit TP2, but the market was closed, so that doesn't count. But it's in a short-term sell on the 4 hour. Lockheed Martin. All right, next let's check out Northrop Grumman. Okay, let me go to the daily. So this is the Friday before the war. This is the Monday after the announcement. They gapped up, and then on Tuesday hit an all-time high, sold off crazy, got bought up, sold off crazy again. Oh, it looks like it did fill this gap completely now, so we can delete that gap off there. Let's see. Current price, $733.71. So as far as support, we got our daily level here. If it breaks that, we do have our smart money concept support zone here. Let me go ahead and put that on there. There we go. Oh, no, hold on. There we go. All right. Let's see. Yeah, so if it breaks this 726.80, I do got it coming down to 713, 714 basically. And then to the upside, we do got our Friday's high, 746.90. If it ends up breaking that, it can come back to here. 765.60. Alright. But it has been in this zone for about a week now. Okay. Let's check out the algo, see what we say. Okay, the algo, it did have a buy signal a long time ago, so we're not going to count that. But let's check out the 4 hour, see what we got. Northrop Grumman. Let's see, it did have a sell signal here at 1 a.m. You know, we like our sell signals to be when the market is open. Good morning, Cuzzo. What's going on? We just charting this Iran War 2026 watch list right now. We did do the second half of the $1 trillion tickers earlier. But yeah, we just running through this new watch list, see what's going on. These first two, these been running, bro. These been running crazy. This BNO, this was well, if you got time to check out the show earlier, but this one started about 20 minutes ago. But this was Friday's before the war was announced, and then this was Monday. And yeah, that thing hit all-time high, sold off, and ran back up, about to hit all-time highs again. And then USO, same thing. This was the Friday before, and then this was the Monday. The thing ran up crazy, sold off, and got bought up again. So yeah, that was a good call, man, on that. For sure. All right, next, Northrop Grumman. So it's just been in the zone for about a week. After this nice pop, that thing sold off, and it's been in the zone for about a week. And so we got current price 733.71. As far as support, we got 726.80, followed by the Smart Money Concepts support zone here. Top of the support zone is going to be 713.60. As far as resistance, we got 746.90, followed by 765.60. Let's check out the algo, see what we got. We got a close. Oh yeah, we don't have a recent signal. All right, let's go to the next company. We had Raytheon Technology, now under RTX Corporation. Okay, so this was the Friday before the announcement. This was the Monday. So that thing gapped up on Tuesday, hit an all-time high, sold off crazy, got bought back up, sold off again. So let's see. Let's put these Smart Money Concepts support level here, support zone. Put that on there. Let's put out some daily levels on here. Oh. That's where the sell-off stopped right here. Put a level right there. Go ahead and roll that down. Let's see if we got any more lows. Yep, right there. Go ahead and roll that down. Yeah, I'll put that here because of this and this. Okay, as far as downside, that's what we got. Let's see, upside. Try to roll that down. All right, we can roll that up. All right, so let's get back to the candlesticks. So current price 204.52. As far as market structure, let's see. This was the all-time high, then it sold off, and then we had a lower high, and then we had a higher low. It did not break this lower low, but this is definitely a short-term downtrend. So I do expect some support right here at this bounce. Is that a bull flag? Possibly. Nah. I think this looks more like a flag right here. Damn, I got this magnet on. This looks more like a flag right here compared to this. Yeah. Potentially. So you got that. Let's see. Potentially. But this is way cleaner though. Yeah, it's way cleaner. Alright, next, let's see. Yeah, so as far as support, current price 402.52. Support, we got 203, followed by 201.10. And then our most recent lower low, 212, followed by our smart money concept support zone. And then to the upside resistance, we got 206.50, followed by 209.80. Oh, for sure, cuzzo, it's all good. And then we got 212.20 on Raytheon. Okay, so that's we got these 3 defense stocks, and now let's get back to let's actually put on the algo and see if the algo has anything. Any signals? Let's see. No, not recently. Let's see if there's a smaller time frame signal that's more recent. Oh, they did have a strong sell here Thursday at 5 a.m. This was the entry here at 205.20. It did hit TP1 at 201. So that is fulfilled. All right. All right, let's get back to the oil. So we got Chevron. Oh, looks like we got to move this all-time high up here. Got a new all-time high. Go ahead and put the magnet back on. Let's see. So this was the Friday before the war popped off. This was the Monday after the announcement. So had you got in on this Monday, you'd have felt some pressure, bounce, pressure before the big takeoff. So had you got in on this Monday between 187 and 191, you would have had to hold for about a week before the takeoff. So it wasn't a quick pop like the other ones, but if you were okay holding for a week and a half, it did take off a lot from Wednesday to Thursday. Let's see. Let me go ahead and draw some more. Okay, let me roll that down. Okay, as far as where we at? 196.82 support. We got Friday's low. It's gonna be 194.69. Followed by Thursday's low, 191.79. Followed by this 189.90. And then down here we have our Smart Money Concepts support level. Support zone. All right, and then to the upside, we got Friday's high, 197.66, followed by the all-time high. Now let's put on the algo and see if we have any levels above the all-time high. We do. I think 200 is going to be a psychological level automatically because that's a nice round level. And then we have 202.17. And then this is a pretty big jump here. It probably won't go to 207.37, but probably 202 max. Probably 200. 200 is such a psychological level. It's probably going to sell off once it is 200. Everybody gonna be taking profits. Like people that have been holding it for a long time. You're like, man, once it gets to 200, I'm gonna sell it off. I'm gonna take profits. But again, the war's still going on. So as long as this war is going on and it's an issue with the Strait of Hormuz, then these can continue to run up. All right. So our last one, we have ExxonMobil. Let's see, where was the? Okay, so this was the Friday before the announcement. This was the Monday, so it hit an all-time high on that Monday. So you had to get in immediately and take this thing up to the top. And it sold off crazy. For the people that got in late, that thing sold off, consolidated, bounced, and now it's headed back up. But if you bought it after it hit all-time high and it was coming back down, then you felt some pressure. Right there. But it has since bounced on this Wednesday, and 3 strong candles to the upside. So as far as support, we have our level at 154.20, followed by the low of Friday, 153, the low of Thursday, 151.72, and then to the upside we got the high of Friday, 156.89, followed by the all-time high. Let's check out the algo and see if we have any levels above the all-time high. We got 162.41 and then 165.56. All right, so that's what we got. That is our watch list for the Iran War 2026. The big winners were BNO and USO. Let me run these back so we can see. Yeah, so this was the entry and on this candle here. So we could check out the percentages. Just say you got in, we'll even go with the top. We'll go with the high of Monday's candle to right now. You'd be up 29%, 29.5%. Okay, let's check out USO. You got in at the high of Monday's candle, you'd be up 35%. XLE. You got in at the high of Monday's candle, you'd be down 0.31%. And I'm just doing the high of Monday's candle just so we can have an equal measurement. All right, the high of Monday's candle, you'll be up 4.29% on XOP. All right, the high of Monday's candle, be up 3.9%. Lockheed Martin, the high of Monday, you'd be down because it hit an all-time high and sold off. But actually, I added Lockheed Martin later. I didn't actually have, on the original Iran War, I had all oil stocks and oil ETFs. I just ended up adding those later. So this will not be the entry. But just for fair measurement, for people that was like, yeah, it is defense and it is a war, so, check out Lockheed Martin. So just for fair measurement, you'd be down 6.65%. All right. Northrop Grumman, the high of Monday, you'd be down 4.49%. Raytheon, the high of Monday. Oh, I can't see. Be down 3.93%. Chevron, the high Monday, you'd be up 2.81%. And ExxonMobil, so they had the same issue as Lockheed Martin. They hit an all-time high on that Monday after the announcement, so you'd be down 2.81%. All right, so that is it for the show. Cuzzo, you got any requests? You got any charts that you want me to give you some levels on? Because if not, that will be the end of the show. Let me know. So yesterday I did the charts for SPY, QQQ, NVIDIA, Apple, Google, and Microsoft. And then earlier today, I did a show with Amazon, TSM, AVGO, Meta, Tesla, and Berkshire B. Tesla. Alright, this is what I got on Tesla. Alright, Tesla current price $391.20. First let's look at market structure. So we had a previous lower high here. So this was a equal high on these two candles, and it sold off. And we had a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So because this high is lower than this high, I'm short-term bearish. And this low is lower than this low, so I'm short-term bearish on that as well. As far as support, you know, we got the low of Friday, which is 389.81, followed by 383.70, and then this lower low here is going to be important, 381.58, followed by our 379.30. And we also have our diagonal support trend line here, this green line. As far as upside, we got the high of Friday, which is going to be 400, followed by our 407.80. And we also have our diagonal trend line here. Let's see what the algo has. I had a sell way back here though, in the beginning of the month. Let's see if we have a more recent signal. I did have a sell on Friday at 5 a.m. The entry was 393.48. Target is 386.46 with a stop loss of 449. Yeah, short term bearish on Tesla, because as you can see from the all-time high, it's just been in a slow downtrend. It did catch a nice pop right here, but it's definitely in a downtrend. And we do got some support from back here in November, which is 381, and we also had another bounce here at 383. So if it comes down here, it should bounce again, because we got these two levels here, and then we got this bounce here, and we also have our diagonal trend line. So if it does come back here, it should bounce, but you know, it's not guaranteed. It might end up breaking. If it break that, if it break this lower low and it break this trend line, yeah, it's coming. It's coming down here to 363. But yeah, that's what I got on Tesla. All right. That's it. Thanks for tuning in, cuz shout out. You know what I mean? But finna get on this workout right now. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.